real quick. John Morosi, MLB Network, was talking about, and everyone noticed that Chris Sale, and he actually just signed an extension with the Braves, going to get a little bit more money for the upcoming year. But when are the Orioles going to make a move? And we keep hearing this, and it's not just the speculation. Now, John Morosi went on MLB Network in the last day or so to talk about that the Orioles could very well be in on Dylan Cease, or very high on him, but there also is a sleeper team. So take a listen real quick.
Let's get to Dylan Cease, because I think after we saw the Glasnow move to the Dodgers, Dylan Cease is now the top arm available on the trade market. It's just not 1 year, it's 2 years. And that
was it not playing? Because it was playing on my side.
That was playing.
That was playing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Brad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Who's been previously a Cy Young Award finalist. Now, the one thing the White Sox could do is take this up until the trade deadline of 24. If Chris Getz and his front office team believe that Cease's value will increase, you see what he did between 22 and 23. Of course, the ERA came up, but the strikeout rate is still strong, and he is someone that you see it there, Matt and Harold, 33 starts. It's a very important number. The durability, a crucial quality right now for Dylan Cease. As I mentioned earlier on in the show, the Baltimore Orioles are a top suitor for Dylan Cease. One team, though, I'm watching carefully, and Harold referenced them earlier, the Mariners. Now, you might say, well, why would the Mariners be involved in trying to trade for a starter? They've got arguably the best depth of young starters in all of Major League Baseball. But one thing that they have not been able to do yet is land the major free agent bat, in addition, of course, to Mitch Garver. So perhaps their strategy could be get the starting pitching in, which then allows you to move a Bryce Miller or Brian Wu for an impact bat via the trade market. And I think that is an option. You think about the Rays with Yandy Diaz and the group of bats that they've got there. Stay tuned for that two-part move potentially by the Seattle Mariners. All right.
So there you have it. And this is nothing new to Orioles fans in ways that we've been hearing the connection. Dylan Cease, Orioles, Dylan Cease. Are they going to pay up what the White Sox want? And just to give the context of this, the White Sox don't have to do anything. If they have a price set, they might stay with that, because why would you want to lower that at a point where you don't have to be desperate? You can hold on to them, go into the season, and then go into the trade deadline where teams are going to be in the hunt and are going to need Dylan Cease. That is the reality. The only thing is, if you can't get a deal done now, that maybe you miss out on the opportunity. That's the fear for some teams. Now, for the Orioles, we've talked about in the past, for everyone that's joined in, the Orioles are really not going to stoop down. Mike Elias has a value. If the value's here, they are not going to take it any higher, and they're not going to lower their expectations unless that price is lowered. And if it's not that, Mike Elias is saying no thank you.
No, I think what is there that Mike Elias has done not to trust him in his talent evaluation? He has a plan. I think they stick to it. Like you just said, I don't think the Orioles are in a position where they feel like they have to go oversell in prospects to get a guy like Dylan Cease, because they have so many prospects and they know teams want to call them to get those prospects. So as much as, the White Sox don't have to do anything, the Orioles also have leverage in the fact that they are so young and have so much talent that they can shop for pretty much anyone. Jesus Luzardo down in Miami, there are other options where, if the White Sox don't come down, they're like, okay, cool. That's not the only option. We can go somewhere else. And I think that gives Elias an upper hand as well.
I mean, if we're talking about a trade partner, the Marlins actually are very intriguing. Talk about some arms. And that is something Kevin is being from it. They do have some young players. Yeah, they have some really good young prospects.
Yeah, you don't have to, if you're the Orioles, you don't have to act from a stance of desperation. I mean, Elias has had this plan forever. He's executing it. And while we talked about, last time I was on, we talked about Kimbrel being on and then Josh Hader, and why that's not the move right now. The move would be for a starter, but you're going to have opportunities. And then when you get to the trade deadline, if you're the White Sox, maybe there's another team that is in desperation, but that doesn't have to be the Orioles. because there are other options out there. You don't want to miss out on everybody, right? You want to make a move somewhere, I think, but still, Dylan Cease is awesome. It seems like it's the perfect marriage based off of what could happen.
Yeah.
But if you have to go up to a level where you're not comfortable and give up one of these untouchable prospects, as so many people say, okay, this guy's off the table, that to me isn't worth it, because the plan is not just for this year. The Orioles have much longer than just this year to compete. They have their whole future ahead of them.
Yeah, so I'll make this point, and Kevin, I understand we need arms. It's not desperate, it's facts. And how is Cease not a premier guy? It's not saying I believe that Cease is going to bounce back. I believe that Cease is a high-end guy that can anchor your rotation, can be your ace. But the point with the Orioles are, whether people like it or not, they're not going to go and jump out there and overpay with prospects when they feel like they're still trying to figure out a few of their big names. I think in July, I still stick with it. July, they'd be willing to part with more guys, because I think they'll have a better idea of guys that were big league ready or on the cusp. And that's where I think it stands with Dylan Cease. And on the flip side to it, if Kyle Bradish pitches like he did last year, you have another Cy Young candidate. I think Grayson Rodriguez makes the jump. And then you have John Means hopefully being healthy to go with a guy like Dean Kramer. So yes, it's a really good rotation. Dylan Cease would take it over the top. Luzardo is very interesting. Been traded already a couple times. He's always intriguing to me. Young players, but again, if you're around Baltimore, we're watching it. They are not going to, if what the White Sox are asking for, and I think that what they're asking for is a lot,
which they should,
which they should.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's really good.
Yeah,
he's really good. So if the point is, if they're asking for a lot, then they're not going to overpay. And quite frankly, the Orioles have guys, they have a lot of bats. We understand that.